Hey Soul Tribe, welcome back to another episode of Soul Tribe Search Party. Today, I am going to record my first book club episode, so I'm going to start dedicating one episode a month to the books that I am currently reading. You guys are more than welcome to keep up with me. I do want to actually start a book club, where we are reading a book once a month, or at least maybe starting from there, and then with some suggestions from you guys, maybe switching it up. However, to kickstart this episode, I am going to go over a book that I read, and that was The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. Now, I have read this book before, but to be honest, this book is such a life-changing book that you have to read it more than one time. Like, it's such a good book. And I even listen to it on audiobooks sometimes, because I think it's like 3-4 hours total, and so I'll just blast through the whole thing, because I just love the reminder that this book gives. This book is all about personal freedom, breaking limiting beliefs, and creating a life of joy and love. Whether you've read the book or not, this episode is meant to give you insight into how these agreements can transform your life. So I'll be breaking down each of the 4 agreements, sharing my personal reflections, and then giving you guys actionable takeaways to incorporate these principles into your life. If you've read the book, let me know your thoughts after the episode. I'll have open questions that can be found at the bottom of the episode. And if you are wanting to be a part of my book club, I cannot wait to hear how these agreements have impacted you. And you can most definitely, if I know you personally, I know I've had some people reach out to me and ask me what books to read that I'll be reviewing on my podcast, so that has been awesome. You are more than welcome to just let me know at the bottom for now if you're interested, and I will definitely touch base with you. It's nothing too formal right now. Like I said, it's just me putting it out there. But yes, so a little bit about the author and context. So the 4 Agreements is rooted in ancient Toltec wisdom. Ruiz simplifies profound teachings into 4 powerful principles that guide us to live authentically. Honestly, on a day-to-day basis, I literally recite back to myself in situation and instances of how the 4 agreements apply, even if it's just one. And I'm trying not to give it away, since we're going to break down which each of the agreements are, but just on a day-to-day basis, after reading this book, it gives you so much insight on how to operate as a human, and how to also operate with other humans. No, you're not necessarily going to be perfect, or, sometimes I do go against the grain on the 4 agreements. But however, I feel like overall it is just a great book to read, to remind yourself, or it's something for, like, when they say when you know better, you do better, basically is what you take away from it. The agreements are simple yet profound, and when practiced, they help us break free from self-limiting beliefs and emotional pain. Okay, so I want to first go into the first agreement, which is be impeccable with your word. So the key idea here is to speak with integrity, say only what you mean, and avoid using words to harm yourself or others. Personally, I've noticed how often negative self-talk creeps into my day. This agreement challenged me to be more intentional with my words, especially the ones I say to myself. Key takeaway from this agreement is that I encourage you guys to try replacing one negative thought with a positive affirmation each day. So I am probably one of those people that's more on the side of delusion, as far as the things that I can and can't, things that I say I can and can't do on a daily basis. What I really resonate with in this agreement is that I have changed my narrative of speaking to reflect that I can always do what I am set forth to do, and I also watch the energy that I am giving out to others with the stuff that I say. So what I mean by that is, for instance, if people are talking about, they're wanting to change their life, they got a little bit more stuff going on and they're excited about it, whatever. I am not going to be that person that questions you, talks down about anything that you say that you're doing. I'm most definitely going to be that person that's like, oh, really? Like, tell me more about it. Tell me the details of it. What paint the whole narrative to me of exactly what your life looks like to you, because that is so exciting to me. Just like that is the energy that I give myself. Like if I am wanting to build up my revenue with things like, different streams, whatever the case may be, I'm not one of those people that's like, I need to win the lottery or whatever. I don't say those things. To me, I'm like, I already got it. I'm already rich. I'm just careful with the verbiage that I use when it comes to stuff like this, because I do believe that words are spells, like, not to sound like a witch, but definitely what you put out there is what you believe. And I just feel like this is something to really think about for yourself and the energy that you put out there. If your doctor is telling you that you're sick, if you've adopted that belief, and you're speaking those words to yourself, I know some people are going to be like, well, if I'm really sick, I'm going to say, like, okay, well, that's the thing. You are in control of your reality. So again, if that is what you want to focus your energy on instead of healing yourself, because that is ultimately what the bigger picture is, the bigger test here. But yeah, just be more consciously aware of what you are saying to yourself and others. And so a question that I have for you guys from this agreement is, how do you use your words in your daily life? Are they lifting you up or are they tearing you down? Next agreement we have, so the second agreement is don't take anything personally. The key idea here is what others say and do is a projection of their own reality. Don't take it personally. My reflection is this agreement was a game changer for me. It helped me stop internalizing criticism and focus on what truly matters, my own truth. And takeaway, so honestly, I will say this agreement is hard. I mean, all the agreements can be hard, okay? But this one is hard for people that are emotionally driven, aka women, maybe. Sorry, not to be sexist, it could be men as well. But just on a day-to-day basis, if you are someone that, like, you are out in traffic, you get road rage, you're cussing somebody out, acting out of pocket, or just maybe you have an interaction with someone at the grocery store, or you're arguing with your boss or your coworkers, your partner, this can be you responding to anything going on in your external world, okay? It is hard on a daily basis to all of a sudden change your narrative when it's like, especially me, like with me being a fire sign, you usually don't take too kindly of disrespect. Like, you are very impulsive, you feel defensive, like you automatically want to get to, snapping off on somebody. But what I had to realize is, like, even as it pertains to like my family, like maybe I'm at a family gathering and like one of my family members can throw shade or whatever. It is up to me to process that in real time versus responding. Like, a lot of times you don't have to say anything. And I know that is hard for us to comprehend, because it is our ego that is wanting to protect us. But you don't have to give energy to that. Like, you don't have to give energy to anybody that is just talking, like, do you find yourself like just simply arguing with people sometimes, and then you even more mad because you're like, I don't even know why I'm arguing with you, like, or like you're just pointing out how slow they sound, or just, you don't even know what the argument is about, and it's simply because the argument was never about you to begin with. Like, literally, a lot of times people are projecting even you project on a daily basis, especially when you're not in tune to what you're really feeling in there. Like, you'll start snapping out on people, and then you'll be like, I don't even know why I'm acting like that. Yes, exactly, because you need to heal. You need to work on your shadow self. You need to dig deep into what is actually going on. And so I'll test myself on a daily basis to where, like, if I'm out in traffic and somebody is acting out of pocket, trying to cut me off and have their own road rage, I will let them have it. Like, I will choose to just be in my own world and let them act accordingly, because the thing is too, when people react out of their ego, road rage can turn into something completely dangerous. And that is in any life circumstance. Stuff can turn a lot worse than it needs to be, simply out of people acting out of ego, and like, it really starts with just minding your business. Like, yeah, that person might not be minding their business, but I'm gonna mind mine. Like, I don't know what you're going through or whatever it is that you have going on, but it don't have nothing to do with me. Like, even if it seems so direct, it has nothing to do with you. It doesn't, especially if it is a stranger. How is a stranger gonna feel some type of way towards you? They don't even know who you are. That stranger feels some type of way internally. And, like, honestly, I think what makes it even harder is, like, yes, when it is people that do know you, you don't really know how to take it. Like, you will be quick to act out of emotion, like, especially if you have a partner, somebody that's always in your space. A lot of times, like, if you guys are having like little bickering back and forth things going on, check in, like, with yourself real quick. Like, is it you? Is it like, do you have something in there that you need to get out to them? Like, maybe you need to express something more directly and, you're not doing that. Or maybe they have something that they need to express that they haven't been directly communicating about, So now you guys are just sitting here bickering back and forth over nothing, because of stuff that's going on. Or maybe, your partner has had a long week at work. Something is stressful. Maybe they know that they're about to lose their job and they don't want to say anything to you, but it's been weighing on them. So now they're acting different, but they're not acting different because of you. They're acting different because in their internal world, they have other things going on. You just have to be mindful that people are living in their own realities, even people that live in your same household. When you guys leave the house, you guys are going in different directions. Everybody is doing their own thing. Like, even if y'all was leaving the house and going to the same job, you're still living different lives. You are still going to the job, seeing it differently, operating differently. It's just simple, okay? But overall, learning how to not react in situations that are clearly other people projecting. And I'll be honest, sometimes it's not even clear that people are projecting, but if you know how to do the internal work with yourself and you can use your discernment, a lot of times you're able to identify, like, actually, yeah, like, I didn't have any business entertaining this because it has nothing to do with me, overall. But this is also not the time to, depending on who it is, but this is not the time to just be telling somebody, like, you need to go heal. You need to go work on what you need to work on. But, you could simply just say, like, honestly, I'm not sure what you are going through, but this has nothing to do with me. Just like you don't want to poke the bear. If you can de-escalate situations, that is really what you should do. Obviously, I'm not saying to take disrespect from other people, but simply, like, if you can just walk away from a situation and just realize that it literally is a waste of your time, then, I don't know, like, because I want to say that you'll feel much better, but you're not necessarily going to feel better. Like, you might have to walk away from it and then talk yourself down because that energy is brewing up in you. That's like, oh no, you didn't, like, walk away from this. Like, you had so much stuff that you needed to say, or whatever, if you're one of those people. But, simply talking about it to yourself or writing about it, or even if you can talk to them and have an honest conversation, do that and you'll see the difference. But it's a lot better than stuff getting way out of control because two people are operating out of ego, and now maybe to the extreme, one person now is dead. Like, that's worst case scenarios, but that is how stuff like that happens, is because people are taking stuff personally and operating out of ego. So my question for you guys in reviewing this second agreement is, have you ever taken something personally only to realize it wasn't about you at all? All right, so our third agreement is don't make assumptions. The key idea in this chapter is find the courage to ask questions and express what you really want. My reflection from this agreement is that it made me think about how often I assume what people are thinking or feeling, especially in relationships. Clarity is so empowering. I honestly challenge you guys practice asking clarifying questions instead of making assumptions. Like, okay, I said the last one was hard, but so is this one. Honestly, I mean, anything that goes against the grain with yourself is going to be hard. But do not assume that you understand what the other person is thinking. Don't assume that you understand what the person was going to say, how they were going to react. Even if you feel like you know a person, don't assume. So, like, this one can also be very hard when it comes to relationships. Like, maybe you expect that your partner can read your mind. You assume that they think like you. You assume that, they should know you by now. You assume all these things, which ultimately paint a narrative in your mind and causes dysfunction in the relationship, because it all simply stemmed from you guys not having clarity in the situation. And sometimes that can be very hard for us to want to come out and ask those questions, especially like someone like myself. I like to say people know what they're doing. I say that all the time. And honestly, yes, we are all adults. We are all grown. People may know what they're doing in their reality though. So like, you could try to take it so personally that maybe, your partner didn't call you on their break and you already know their break is at 3:00, and you just start going down this whole tunnel of how could they not want to talk to me, and we talk every day at this time, yada yada yada, but in your partner's reality, actually, like, maybe in fact, today they had to go to break late, and today was such a stressful and heavy day that yes, you guys may talk all the time, but on this break they had to empty out their own internal tank, which didn't necessarily revolve around you. But at the same time, it wasn't them trying to purposely not talk to you or something like that. But if your partner is not one of those people that can openly communicate with you, like, hey, sorry, I wasn't really feeling it on break. We had a rough day or whatever. It is on you, the assumptioner, to ask, like, you didn't call me, during break. Like, what's up? Are you okay? Blah, 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 blah. Create that open dialogue with one another. Although, like, yes, on a communication standpoint, both of you should be able to have that communication. However, not everybody communicates the same. So just overall, you just have to work on making sure that you are clear in your communication and not letting yourself act out of emotion based off of things that you assume without even running to past somebody. And now you're just walking around being subliminal or maybe passive aggressive from something that you guys didn't even see the situation the same, or maybe they're not even thinking about the situation at all because they didn't even know the situation was a problem. So yes, that is a great agreement. And my question for you guys is, when was the last time an assumption led to unnecessary conflict or stress? Okay. And last agreement but not least, we have agreement 4, which is always do your best. And to be honest, I love this agreement. I really do. The key idea here is that your best will change from moment to moment, but always give it your all. My reflection is that this agreement taught me to release the pressure of perfection. Doing my best is enough, even on tough days. Okay? The takeaways here, I encourage you all to redefine what doing your best means in your current circumstances. Okay? Like, on a day-to-day basis, it is not going to look the same. Do not stress yourself out because of how you show up that day. The key factor is that you showed up for yourself, though. So, for instance, for me, sometimes doing my best is me sitting around the house all day, maybe reading a book or watching some kind of YouTube video. I'm chilling, but on other days, my best could be I cleaned the house, I created something new, I went to the gym, I cooked dinner. Like, that was my best on that day. But the fact of the matter is that every day is not going to be the same. Remember the yin and the yang, as above, so below. Everything pertains to one another. And that is also your day-to-day life. So, yeah, you might be running off of a high, for a day or two, and you're like, man, like, I felt so energized these past few days, and then all of a sudden, I barely want to do that. That's okay. That's okay. So, just remember, it is like on a day-to-day basis, it is not going to be the same for you, even when you're at work. Like, see, my thing is, people need to stop going above and beyond at work, because the only reward that you get for doing a great job is more work. So just make sure that, you're not stressing yourself out at work. And sorry, you guys might be able to hear my son. But just remember, you just got to show up the best way that you can. And as long as you are doing exactly what your job needs you to do, that's fine. But, sometimes I'll go into a job like, don't ask for too much. I'm literally doing the bare minimum today because that is the best that I can do for you today. And it's not that I'm coming into work not trying to do nothing at all. It's that today I'm not going above and beyond. So sorry. This is what y'all get today, and that's fine. So my question to you guys is, what does doing your best look like for you? And you can answer that for today when you're hearing this podcast. You can reflect on that maybe tomorrow if you think about it, but jot that down. So yeah, my overall impression of this book is that this is my Bible. I don't care. This is a book for me to personally live by. It is a book that helps me operate on a day-to-day basis. It is a reminder of how to make yourself a next level human, and to just simply work through the things that don't matter overall, and to just make sure that you are giving back to yourself. To be honest, if I would have to pick out an agreement that resonates with me the most, I would have to say that it is agreement number 2, which is don't take anything personally, even though I love agreement 4. Agreement number 2 is the one that I personally have to fact check myself on all the time. Like, I always have energy brew up in situations where I'm like, ooh, like my ego wants to be like, are they throwing shade? Are they acting funny? Or just simple day-to-day things that you could run into with your friends, with your family, with, strangers. You want to take it personally. You want to react or, whatever the case may be. But I always try to let myself work through that emotion that I feel and then just ultimately, just speak on it. Like, okay, yeah, they are throwing a little shade, but obviously, like, they have something on their mind that maybe they need to talk about or that's bothering them. So then, maybe that's where you ask that clarifying question and then you clear that energy out. If it's like, if it applies, if it's just somebody that is being an asshole and they're a stranger, that's like, okay, like, we're literally going to walk away from each other and not see each other again. So whatever. I just feel like if you apply these agreements to your daily life, it will benefit you tremendously with your mental and emotional well-being. Like I said, you're not going to be perfect because we're all just here living the human experience. But it is great to take you to that next level. But overall, I'd love to hear your thoughts on which agreement resonates with you the most. Maybe even share your reflection with me, whichever ways that you follow me, if you're on social media or if we create a book club discussion group. I would love for you guys to connect with me, join in. Like I said, I would like to make this a monthly thing, or, we can most definitely go with the flow on how everything's going to be worked out. I do want to continue to dive deeper into these kinds of transformative reads. Every month I love self-help books and finance books. So honestly, that is what the first, I don't even know how many books are going to be focused on, because that is literally what I focus on. The next book, though, that we are going to do is The Alchemist. And eventually I do want to be able to have links for all the books that I'm reading, so that you guys can access them in a more convenient way, whether it's like a direct link to Amazon for you to be able to order the book, or if you do Audible books, whatever the case may be. But yes, so my next read is going to be The Alchemist, and I'm so excited for the next episode to discuss that book. We may even have, start having discussions with others that are in the book club as well, to share their feedback, have open discussions. That's eventually how I would like it to be. It's not just me simply talking about the book, but I don't know. We will see what works best. But for now, yes, you guys will have me to reflect on the book. And I want to thank you guys for tuning in to my first book club episode. I definitely encourage you to practice one agreement this week and share your experience with me. Remember, Soul Tribe, small steps lead to big transformations. Keep showing up for yourself, and I will see you next time.